Greetings all and welcome to Daily Pali Reading. Today we're continuing in the Vacchagottasaṃyuttaṃ. We have now reached the second section, the Vedanāaññāṇasuttaṃ. Recall before it was the Rūpaaññāṇasuttaṃ. And recall also that this entire Vacchagottasaṃyuttaṃ is situated in the section of the Samyutta Nikaya dealing with the five khandhas, that is, the body, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, the five aggregates, bundles, which make up a human being. I'm going to break with tradition a little bit. I am not going to read the entire passage. You can see this is the entire sutta, this entire second section. I mentioned last time that this entire section only differed from the Rūpaaññāṇasuttaṃ by one word. That's actually not true. There are two others, and they are all here in blue and in bold. So what I'd like to do is just go through those words, because everything else is verbatim what we've already encountered. And I think that will make sense as we go through this. So to start with, we have Savati Nidanang. In the previous sutta, we had Ekang Samayang Bhagava Savatiyang Viharati Jetavane Anatapindikasa Arame. And what's going on here, this Savati Nidanang is really just an abbreviation of all of what happened before. So to encapsulate that, in order not to repeat that entire phrase, we have Nidanang, and when it occurs as a compound like this, it means founded on, caused by, originating in. And that's really how we can think of this, happening at Savati, originating in Savati. Then everything else is exactly as before. Vacchagotta comes to the Blessed One and asks this question about speculative views, why they arise in the world. This time, the Blessed One replies that it is due to ignorance of Vedana, or Vedanāaññāṇasuttaṃ, and Vedana Samudaye, Vedana Nirodhe, Vedana Nirodha Gaminiya Patipadaya Aññāṇa. So, Vedana is clearly the key word here, and Vedana is usually translated or understood to be feeling or sensation. Not feeling as in an emotion, but feeling as in when you touch an object or when our sense apparatus comes into contact with an external object. And the sensations that arise can either be pleasant, non-pleasant, or neither pleasant nor non-pleasant. We'll leave that to the side for right now. It is an interesting thing to consider, but in terms of this sutta, comparing it to the passage that came before, the only difference is that now we've substituted Vedana for Rūpaṃ. And if you, dear listener, were to continue in this Vacchagottasaṃyuttaṃ, you would see that the next section continues with the remaining khandhas, Saññā, Sankhara, Viññāna. So this is a case where the repetition in the Pali Canon really works for us. We can go through large sections, and we're really, after we have the template down, so to speak, then we are just sort of plugging in new words, or the new words that might arise. So there is a third word here, dutiyang, and we mentioned before in the first section there was patamang, and this is dutiyang. This just marks it off as the second section or the second sutta. And as also noted previously, the entirety of the Pali Canon was transmitted orally, so that something like a dutiyang serves as the oral equivalent of looking at something on a page marked section 2. So not only will this wrap up our reading of this section, this sutta, we will actually just wrap up the entire Vacchagottasaṃyuttaṃ, because at this point it is a rather trivial matter to go in and simply track down the words that arise which haven't been met before. If, of course, there are any questions that arise, feel free to send them my way. And if there's something I've completely overlooked, definitely share that as well in the comments. Be happy to have any sort of discussion or input. Next up, we're going to go to the Udana and read and listen and contemplate what the Buddha has to say about Nibbana, aka Nirvana, not the band. Peace, everyone.